afternoon, I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now. Finance Secretary Benjamin Diokno warns of a fiscal collapse if the government does not overhaul the military pension system. Diokno revealed that the Marcos administration will push for reforms in the pension of soldiers and other uniformed personnel since the current setup is unsustainable. The finance chief explained that retired personnel are getting an average monthly pension of 40,000 pesos. That's 9 times higher than what other government workers are receiving from the Social Security system.
So there will come a time when the current budget will only be about one third or one fourth of the money that we're paying for the pensioners. Okay, so we have to really address that issue. It's not sustainable. I said if this goes on, there will be a fiscal collapse.
For one, Diokno said that they want to require all active military personnel and new entrants to contribute to their pension funds. He also proposed to remove the indexation of pensions to the salary of active personnel of similar rank. Secretary Diokno is also pushing to raise the age of those who can receive their pensions from 56 to 57 years old.
Right now, the situation is so bleak, for example, that if you compare the current operating expenditures or maintenance and operating expenditures of the whole AAFP and the capital outlays, so the money they buy for airplanes, etc., it is actually much less than the amount of pension that we are allocating for the retirees.
And when asked about the proposal for pension reforms, Armed Forces spokesperson Colonel Medel Aguilar said that it is still too early to talk about it. And the North Luzon Expressway connectors Caloocan to España section is now open to motorists. The 5-kilometer segment is toll-free for motorists for a limited time. This new road cuts the travel time between Caloocan and Manila to 5 minutes instead of the usual 30 minutes or more. The Caloocan to España segment will also ease traffic along España Boulevard, Abad Santos Avenue, Rizal Avenue, and Lacson Avenue in the city of Manila. And in other news, some schools are switching back to online classes amid the rising temperatures across the country. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez with the report.
Before the COVID-19 pandemic, the months of April and May were usually associated with the summer break. But now, with the changes in the school calendar, students and teachers alike battled extreme heat along with schoolwork. Many teachers say that this setup is not ideal. A survey conducted by the Alliance of Concerned Teachers showed that 67% or nearly 8,000 teachers experience intolerable heat in their classrooms. This is why some students are having a hard time concentrating in class. Some are also opting to skip classes. Extreme heat also tends to trigger asthma in some students. Some schools like the Mindanao State University in General Santos City have already suspended in-person classes, shifting to online classes for this week.
We take into consideration the welfare of our faculty members, especially our senior faculty members, and our medically and physically vulnerable students to avoid untoward incidents related to heat stroke, dehydration, and other problems.
Students of the university welcome this consideration from the school.
Glad po kami kasi i-take nila kami into consideration yung situation po namin sa school kasi especially sa Jensen po kasi kami nag-aaral and Jensen pa lang po mainit na.
The Alliance of Concerned Teachers is now hoping that the Education Department would consider adjusting class schedules, avoiding hours in the afternoon that are too hot. The ACT also suggests alternating between physical and online classes this summer. They are also advocating to revert the academic calendar back to its pre-pandemic setup.
Kakaiba yun. Mahalaga ay tuloy-tuloy pag-aaral pero sa paraan na hindi sa kumbaga sa ay maluwag sa bahagi ng pagtuturo ng parehas ng teacher at saka ng estudyante.
DepEd said that schools have the discretion to suspend in-person classes when they feel the environment is not conducive for learning. When this happens, DepEd said that schools can switch to blended learning to keep classes going. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez, We Are One News.
Time now to take a quick break, but One News Now will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Philippines will still engage with the International Criminal Court despite the court's insistence on investigating the war on drugs. That's according to Solicitor General Menardo Guevara. The government's top lawyer clarified that Manila's main appeal against the resumption of the drug war probe is still awaiting the resolution from the ICC. Recall that President Bongbong Marcos said that the Philippines will disengage from any contact or communication with the ICC after the court's recent junking of the Solgen's request to suspend the probe on the drug war.
Na deny lamang ay yung request for suspensive effect. Hindi naman yung mismong kaso on appeal ang na-dismiss. Baka hindi lang naipaliwanag mabuti yun sa presidente. And he might have been given the impression na yung appeal mismo ang na-dismiss na ng ICC. So I will just explain to him na hindi pa tapos ang laban at yung decision, hinihintay pa natin yan.
And while the Marcos administration will not prevent the ICC from investigating the drug war, Soljan Guevara said that the International Court cannot expect the Philippine government to cooperate since it has no moral or legal obligation to do so.
They can come here or they can do the investigation online or bring the witnesses abroad if they want to get their testimony, execute their affidavits, gather information from non-governmental organizations. They can do that. Ang hindi lang nila probably magagawa is to seek the cooperation of, official cooperation of Philippine government agencies. Dahil sa presidente na nanggaling mismo that we will not cooperate at this stage.
And here is a quick look at today's other top stories. The MMDA has imposed a 30-minute heat break for its field personnel until May 31. Enforcers who work the 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. shift will have a timeout from 10 to 10:30 a.m., while those working from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. will have a break time from 2:30 to 3 p.m. or from 3 to 3:30 p.m. Meanwhile, field personnel working from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. can take their heat breaks from 11 to 11:30 a.m. or from 11:30 a.m. to 12 noon. Street sweepers will also have similar breaks depending on their work hours. The LTFRB will be imposing penalties against sex offenders inside public transportation. Gender-based sexual harassment includes catcalling, sexual remarks, lewd gestures, exposing private parts, and brushing against another person's body parts. PUV operators are also required to put up signages discouraging harassment inside their vehicles, along with the contact details of the LTFRB. Violators will be fined 5 to 15,000 pesos and could lose their permits to operate. Government is confident that the newly created Water Resource Management Office will help address the impact of the El Nino. President Marcos said that part of the overall water plan is the shift from traditional water sources to surface water and flood control infrastructure. With this, Marcos Jr. is hoping for the passage of the bill that will finally establish the Department of Water Management. Heads up, Hamil fam! Don't throw away your shot. The multi-awarded musical Hamilton is set to make its Asian debut here in the Philippines. GMG Productions and the producers of Hamilton announced that the musical will be staged in Manila come September. Hamilton will run at the theater in Soler for a strictly limited season. In an announcement video, actor-playwright Lin-Manuel Miranda expressed his excitement over Hamilton's Asian premiere, acknowledging that a number of Filipinos have been part of the Hamilton Pamilya around the world. One News Now will be back at 3 p.m. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.